Each cylinder of an automobile engine has two valves. One opens to let in the fuel and air, and the other to let out the burnt gases. The valves are opened by cams. A cam, as you can see, is a circle with a protruding point at one end. In the old or overhead valve engine, the cam pushed a push rod. The push rod pushed against the rocker, and the rocker opened the valve. Three processes, a three-tier system. In the new overhead cam system, the cam moves to the top of the engine and opens the valve directly, reducing three processes to one, improving engine efficiency enormously. One process, a one-tier system. This basic principle applies not only to automobile engines, but also to any development program. The less moving parts or the fewer people, processes, levels and hierarchies involved, the more efficient and cost beneficial a development program is likely to be. Take a simple thing like hand pump maintenance in India. In rural India, a three-tier maintenance system designed by UNICEF has been accepted by many state governments for want of a better and more viable alternative. Tier 1, a village-level caretaker who carries out minor repairs like tightening nuts and bolts and keeping the foundation clean. Tier 2, a block-level mechanic who is informed through postcards by caretakers for more major repairs. Tier 3, a district maintenance unit complete with engineer, trucks, jeeps for repairs that require the pump and pipes to be taken out of the 80 to 100 foot deep hole. In Rajasthan, for instance, out of 30,000 villages, as many as 23,000 have been identified as problem villages. What is a problem village? One which does not have an assured source of drinking water within 1.6 kilometers. One where the source of drinking water is susceptible to waterborne diseases like cholera and guinea worm. One where the water has excessive salinity, iron or fluorides. In an effort to cope with this massive problem of water scarcity, the state government launched a major program of installing Deep Well India Mark II hand pumps, otherwise called zero-error hand pumps, through the Public Health Engineering Department, PHED. Most of the work was handed out to private contractors. This resulted in poor installation of inferior quality hand pumps all over the state. Maintenance was a low priority. The money involved was a pittance and no contractor was interested. Most of the hand pumps remained out of order. The three-tier system did not seem to work for obvious reasons. Too many experts and educated people involved, too much dependence on machines and equipment, and little or no confidence in the capabilities of the actual users themselves. In February 1981, as a result of discussions with users in the community themselves, the one-tier system was evolved. On an experimental basis, 25 rural youths with some technical aptitude, bicycle repairers, blacksmiths, motor rewinders, were trained in repairing India Mark II hand pumps under TRISOM, the Training for Rural Youth for Self-Employment program. The results were encouraging enough to ask the state government to consider its application on a much larger scale. And more. The three-tier system cost the government 400 rupees per hand pump per year, whereas the one-tier system would cost just 150 rupees, plus 50 rupees for spare parts. From September 1981, a series of meetings with state government officials, which carried on till June 1982, resulted in a number of major far-reaching policy decisions. The three-tier system will be replaced by the community-based one-tier system all over the state. The funds for maintenance will be transferred from the PHED to the Community Development Department. and block development officers will be responsible for disbursing the funds to Handpump Mistries, HPMs, the official designation of the village youth trained to repair hand pumps. The HPM will be trained under TRISOM for 3 months. The training expenses will be borne by government and the toolkits for scheduled castes subsidized. In January 1983, trainers from industrial training institutes located all over Rajasthan were trained to train HPMs. The ITIs were allotted districts where HPMs would be identified by the panchayat and government. The advantages of the one-tier system over the three-tier system are worth elaborating, since there are elements in them that do not make replication in other states a difficult proposition. First, the HPM is not a government servant. In fact, he is answerable to the community. Second, there is tremendous potential for generating employment in the rural areas. A HPM is supposed to look after 36 hand pumps, which will enable him to earn 300 rupees per month part-time. He can continue to do more repair jobs in the village where his roots are. Third, the HPM has been trained to carry out all minor and major repairs, from tightening nuts and bolts to changing washers 100 feet below the ground. He has, in fact, shown how it is possible to demystify technology and at the same time illustrated how it is possible to mobilize village knowledge and village skills without depending on external sources. Fourth, the community-based maintenance system is substantially less expensive than the three-tier system, a factor that should attract other state governments. Fifth, the community owns the pump, not the government, so that they have a stake in maintaining it properly. Sixth, it is not a handout program. Banks are involved in giving credit for special tools. But, like all new ideas, when it comes to introducing it on a large scale, the one-tier system is not without problems. It took time for funds to be transferred from the PHED to the Community Development Department because of resistance to the idea from the engineers themselves. If there is no political will and the bureaucracy at the policy-making and decision level is weak, the one-tier system will never be allowed to enter another state. Fortunately, in Rajasthan, the political and administrative commitment to community participation and decentralization has been consistent, making it possible to introduce the one-tier system all over the state. There are other problems. The educated engineer is still not convinced that a village youth can repair and maintain hand pumps. The bank managers in the rural areas are not yet motivated enough to give loans for special tools to HPMs. The hand pumps are poorly installed with substandard material. Once they are handed over and the hand pump refuses to work after a couple of months because poor cement or materials have been used, the response of the engineers is, "See, we told you, they will never be able to keep it working." HPMs have not been getting their appointment letters in time. The delay has been so long that it has resulted in a large number of dropouts, and HPMs in many areas have to be selected and trained again. Ironically, many sarpanches are not prepared to take on this responsibility of monitoring HPMs on the field. The sarpanches have to countersign, saying that the hand pumps in their villages are functioning properly. Sarpanch handbooks have been made and issued to all sarpanches. But many are reluctant to take on this responsibility, and in many areas, friction between the HPMs and sarpanches are not uncommon. If the HPM is a scheduled caste, this has created further problems in many villages. But the community has been pampered for so long that it will take time before these new responsibilities are taken seriously by community leaders. In the final analysis, there is every reason to believe that the one-tier system is the alternative state governments are looking for. The one-tier system, though it will have teething problems, is a more rational and more socially beneficial method of keeping rural hand pumps working all the year round. The entire state of Rajasthan has switched to this system. The scheme is easily duplicable, and it would be in the interest of all states to adopt it for hand pump maintenance in rural areas. Because when a hand pump works, it gives potable drinking water, which means a healthier people, not increasingly susceptible to horrible waterborne diseases like cholera and guinea worm, and a rural population which can at last heave a sigh of relief and say, "Water, it's not a problem." If we all work together, it can happen. It is bound to happen.